Hey there. Excuse me. This is Jerry calling. I really want to thank you a lot for trying to help. I heard this morning that everyone over in the Lakers camp thinks they're going to get him. I just find that hard to believe that he would want to go to that shit show where he would not even wouldn't get his name in the paper, and he wouldn't be the face of the franchise, that's for sure. He might be the best player on the team, but hope things are well. And again, I really, really appreciate everything you've done. I'll keep you apprised of what goes on, but I do want to get together with you privately and love to take you to the dinner and even Sam if he's around, so I can at least pay my respects to you guys for being so generous and helpful. Take care. Talk to you sometime soon. Bye-bye.
That he's thanking me and Sam for everything that we have done, but he's hearing that he's going to sign with the other side. So my text message back to Jerry at that time was, but whatever you're hearing, Jerry, is between you and Toronto when you guys go meet with Dennis Kim and Kawhi at Doc's house, to sell life after basketball and all those type of things. Yes, I want to be compensated because I have my own business, and here I am. I'm flying here, flying there, and I'm paying all this out of my pocket. And then sometimes I went through a sponsor, but I'm paying this out of my own pocket. So I'm flying to San Antonio. We helped Kim move.
Now, for those of you who are watching the visual version, he's providing a lot of receipts through the iMessage. It's dated. Everything is sort of in a perfect alignment. You got the family photos showing that there was a connection for years through multiple family members. You got flight bookings, the voicemails, the text messages. I'm not going to lie, I was kind of shocked when I seen everything sort of added up, even though the NBA media all across the board have painted Johnny Wilkes as incredible.
And it's just other different things like that. So, yes, I want to be compensated.
So, okay,
he's the best player in the world.
Had you informed Jerry West that you wanted to be compensated?
Yes, West knew I wanted to be compensated.
And how was West going to compensate?
It was through 501.
No, but how much did you ask for? Let me ask that.
$2.5 million. And that was cheap for Kawhi Leonard. I should have asked for $10 million.
Now, as we continue through this segment, we're going to learn that behind the scenes, someone informed Johnny Wilkes of how he came up with that $10 million number just right now. It looks like it is an industry standard for some of these guys to get kind of brokered to entering into some of these franchises. We are in the informational age and the era of receipts. So us fans for the first time are getting a lot of details and just seeing some of the inner nuances that makes this whole NBA machine go. So fuck the 5-year, $200 million contract. There's also tens of millions of dollars being exchanged off that contract.
And that was cheap for Kawhi Leonard. I should have asked for $10 million. It was also permitted a $100 million deal that this was for the Kawhi Leonard production. Now, the Kawhi Leonard production would have consisted of entertainment and different type of things. Now, you have to realize, remember that first fight between Deontay Wilder and the Big Gypsy at the Staples Center? See,
Tyson Fury?
Yeah, Fury, that's him. That was supposed to be the first night of Kawhi Leonard's production.
This right here is very interesting because come to find out, Steve Ballmer initially was supposed to invest $100 million into Kawhi Leonard production. That was revealed in the court findings as Jerry West admitted that a marketing campaign was supposed to be set up under that production company with a $100 million investment. There's many ways these teams could skin a cat. That aspiration deal was just one of many.
And he was going to be introduced to Los Angeles, and they were going to have some of the Clippers there, but it never took place because Dennis never let Al go in and speak to Mr. Ballmer. And it was so much that Dennis did that, and he just kind of messed me up with some people in my life. And that's why I'm sitting and telling the story. I want to tell the truth.
Absolutely.
I want to tell the real story. I don't want all that, he telling people that, I went behind his back. How I go behind your back? We're going to sit here and we're going to look at all these text messages that me and you were going back and forth. And you tell me how I went behind your back, Uncle Dennis. Dennis. So this is
So not only did you have the relationship with Uncle Dennis, you had the relationship with Kawhi's mom, Kim.
Yeah. And
Well,
I'm
when I say
thinking about it.
friends.
We were friends. And now I'm thinking about it. One night, her and Niecy, which is Dennis' twin, they called me on the telephone.
Who is Niecy?
Dennis' twin.
Okay.
So they called me on the telephone, and they tell me your boy thinks he's running everything. So in my mind, I'm like, he kind of is, but it's your show, Kim. I didn't say that, but that's what it was, and it was like, because then I come to find out, Dennis was trying to sell his protocol stuff, one of his little programs. I'm like, I'm not selling that shit. I'm selling Nephew. Nephew was Kawhi.
Yes.
I don't want to sell Kawhi. So my thing was to get Al Heyman, Mr. Ballmer together, and see, from my understanding, Al Heyman wanted everybody at the table. He just didn't want Dennis, him, and he wanted everybody. So it was times that they were asking me, well, can you get Kim to talk to us? And I was like, I was loyal to Dennis. So I was I don't want to do all that type of shit, So I never went and approached Kim and asked Kim, they want to talk to you. So it was like, now that I think about it, I should have, because if I can get, my thing was to get Al Heyman and Mr. Ballmer at the table, and and can you imagine me going out recruiting players for Al Heyman?
You, Jim Gray, Sam Watson, and Jerry West met at this Italian restaurant in Beverly Hills.
Correct.
And what was the purpose of that meeting?
To get I want to know when we get our money. Well, we presented him with some other stuff, for funding.
Okay, the meeting was about you getting your $2.5 million.
Correct.
And was Sam Watson also supposed to be paid $2.5 million?
No, he was supposed to get some of that from out of what I.
Okay. So Sam wasn't supposed to get paid $2.5 million. He was supposed to get paid. You were going to compensate him.
Correct.
Okay.
Well, we sat there, we met, and we had the meeting, and then we presented everything to Wes. We gave him the proposition, and we sat, we talked, we ate, and that's when I told you Sam was back there house signing. He was talking about this Al on the phone, and Wes said what he said about him and Mr. Ballmer, having a conversation, getting together.
Okay, so Wes had agreed to pay you the $2.5 million.
He was going back to present it to whoever he had to present it to get the money.
Now this right here is where Johnny Wilkes, he kind of fucked up because he should have had something in writing. The way these entities and corporations and just the way these mega conglomerates work, if it's not on a piece of paperwork, it doesn't exist.
You said Jerry West told Jim Gray to get all your information?
This was outside as we walked into the car. This is after that me, Jim Gray, and Sammy are walking back to our cars.
Yes.
So Jim Gray asked me a question, how much did you ask for? And I told him in the letter it's 2.5. And he said, that's not enough. He said, you should ask for more. And then I was like, okay. And then that's when Jim Gray, he gave me his telephone number and email. And he told me to send over the
So you're telling me that Jim Gray was aware of everything that was supposed to go down regarding this payment to you?
Jim Gray was aware of everything. Jim Gray is setting up these meetings through Sammy.
Now, Jim Gray has a lot of connections to the NBA, as when they used to be on NBC, he was one of the main analysts on there. But the fact that there's so many hands in the pot of this whole transaction of just brokering Kawhi Leonard to the Clippers, something is not right. One of these guys got to be a smokescreen. Get my number from this guy. Let's exchange this piece of information through another guy. I've seen Adam Silver sort of create the same distance when it comes to the investigation with Steve Ballmer. They have the outside law firm handling it, and the way he worded it to the NBA media is that he's gonna come down on the ruling based off the law firm. So the law firm said to do this, and my ruling is based off of the law firm who did the investigation. Same thing when he passed down the 65-game rule, or when he started to make statements about getting back to basketball. He mentions Joe Dumars. He's always adding a buffer between his decisions and just relaying that information to the media. So fast forward right here, Johnny Wilkes gives some insight into how he was trying to get his money even after Kawhi has signed with the Clippers. And once again, this is the importance of getting the paperwork down. because if there's no paperwork on any type of promise of payment, that shit does not exist. And Johnny Wilkes is way too old not to fucking know that.
And what was the deal? They were gonna
I never read it. It was something, you know, they're gonna find him $10 million and do this and do all
and
that.
this was based on what Dennis was trying to do?
I guess what Dennis was doing is negotiation. You know, Sammy called me and asked me. He said the Clippers that, you know, Western delete everything. You know, you know,
regarding the conversation and everything that had taken place.
But me, I'm like, you know, dealing with the courts and everything, and I've dealt with the courts before, and I'm not going to delete shit. I'm about to save more. Because I'm like, well, I'm going to delete it for this. I'm going to get paid.
Absolutely.
So, you know, I'm like, I'm not going to delete that. I started saving more. He even sent me the story of the ESPN with it.
Who sent you the story?
Sammy.
Sam sent you the story?
I got a text message.
Okay.
Too.
Okay.
Now, right here, Sam sends him a story letting him know that right now the Clippers have a lot of heat as the league is investigating them for tampering with the Kawhi Leonard free agency. There's a lot of red flags that should have been going off on Johnny Wilkes' head. Why is Sam Watson texting him about this situation? And he's sort of acting like it's an emergency. Once again, there's way too many buffers in between Johnny Wilkes and the Clippers. And this has been a masterclass on creating distance by the Clippers. Make no mistake about it.
So you don't get paid.
Nope.
So now we're going through 29. We're in 2020. Kawhi's playing with the Clippers. They're having their season, and you still haven't gotten paid. But during that time, had you talked to Wes?
Yeah, we were still communicating. I saw him at a boxing match that me and Dennis was at.
Yeah.
And, it was the one at the Forum. I mean, not the Forum, the Staples Center.
Yes.
Forgot the two boxers, but we was there and we saw him afterwards. And he said he had been trying to get in contact, but he was calling the 818 number. And I'm like, that's not my number. I know who number. That's Sammy's number.
Right.
So he was calling the 818. So I gave him my number that day, and then we started communicating.
That sounds like a lie to me, because Jerry West earlier, he left a voicemail. He let it be known who it was, and he exactly knew who he was talking to. So how the hell all of a sudden, when it comes to knowing that he owes a payment, all of a sudden he's dialing the wrong number? Get the fuck out of here. This is a beautiful thing when you get older. Like when you get up to your 80s and 90s like Jerry West was, you get to use that excuse of just, I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. Old age.
Not my number. I know who number. That's Sammy's number.
Right.
So he was calling 818. So I gave him my number that day, and then we started communicating.
Okay, and what is Wes saying at that time about you getting paid?
He said that, he kind of told me the best way that I would get paid to present a proposal and do it all over. So I presented a proposal because my friend, her boss, and they had a facility out in San Pedro. So we was gonna put the dome up there. It's like they had the tent. So we was gonna put that up, run our program to do there, and try to get paid like.
Now that right there is one of the ways that some of these teams could end up paying a third party. They're acting like they're making a donation or just a payment to a athletic program. Uncle Dennis does have a similar play that he has out in New Jersey. These guys are definitely hustlers. They know that they're dealing with billionaires who they themselves funnel money in order to get certain political favors or just business favors for things to go their way. The Steve Ballmer aspiration situation is only one layer. As someone who worked within that entity, also was involved with Steve Ballmer throughout the years and multiple nonprofits. Matter of fact, Steve Ballmer was still quote unquote donating to that one guy's other foundations even after aspiration had basically folded. Once again, this shit is nothing new. Many politicians get, quote unquote certain donations or payments in many different ways. This is just the first time on the NBA side the fans get to see what's going on behind the curtain.
But then when I talked to this lady that's saying that she writes proposals, and I kind of explained to her, and she was like, well, what makes you think they're going to give you the money? And then that's when I said to her, Sam haven't told you the whole story. She said no. So after I explained everything to her, she said, you don't need no proposal. You just need your money.
You just need to get paid.
I just need to get paid.
And the NBA to this day has not done anything to the Clippers and Jerry West, he's since passed, rest in peace. Nothing happened to Jerry West or the Clippers regarding the tampering.
No, nothing. Not a thing.
And the NBA right now has all of that information.
They have all of that information. They have that and more.
And have not done nothing to the Clippers or Jerry West.
No.
Matter of fact, the Clippers have released a statement in response to Johnny Wilkes' story. And they named the accusations, quote, inaccurate and baseless. This is funny because this was sort of the same response that they had with Pablo Torre when he first asked him for a response before he released his initial reporting for the first time. The Clippers let it be known that his accusations were false. But then after Pablo had published his reporting for the first time, they actually responded to ESPN. They changed their wording from the accusations are false to absurd. So now we're going to hear from Johnny Wilkes give some insight towards what happened with his case. That was basically him versus the Los Angeles Clippers and Jerry West.
Okay, let's talk about the court case.
Mm-hmm.
You were deposed?
Correct. I did a deposition in my attorney's office, yes.
Jerry West was deposed?
Jerry West was deposed. Jerry West sat in on my deposition and tried to stare me in the camera, and I stared right back at him.
And Jerry West, knowing that you had helped him sign Kawhi, turned against you.
That is amazing. Jerry West knows that he left all those voicemails, all that evidence, and everyone, including the league, has this information. Once again, Johnny Wilkes had texted Ramona Shelburne back in February 2024 that he had all these receipts. Matter of fact, let's listen to Jerry West and the voicemail he left for Johnny Wilkes.
But I do want to get together with you privately and love to take you to dinner and even Sam if he's around, so I can at least pay my respects to you guys for being so generous and helpful.
You see how vague that voicemail was? These guys are really good. They covered all their tracks. Once again, with Johnny Wilkes, he should have had something in writing, because if it's not in writing, it does not exist. Even though he has no evidence and it's unfortunate, there's still something that smells fishy right here.
Not only did he turn against me, Sam Watson turned against me. I call him Uncle Sammy now.
And Uncle Dennis.
Yeah, both of them unks, yes.
Didn't both of them sign declarations against you?
They both signed declarations. And I brought Sammy into this. He signed a declaration with them. And then he's going to tell me he didn't get paid. Come on now. Fuck out of here. You got paid.
Facts. Sammy Watson, come on, man. You come out of the boxing industry. You guys are shady as fuck. You definitely got paid. You made sure that you were not even going to participate in any of this. Go to any of those fucking dinners. You could buy your own dinner. You were not showing up unless you got paid. Matter of fact, it wouldn't shock me if Johnny Wilkes was the dumb money at the table. He was the one getting finessed the whole time.
Yes.
You got paid through Jim Bray and, Jerry West. Jerry West got paid handsomely.
Yeah, absolutely. And so the judge ended up dismissing the case, didn't he?
Listen to me. Mr. Ballmer did his deposition, and it was things said in there that they, this how ridiculous this was. They turned over some evidence to us. The same thing I told Jerry West, he told Mr. Ballmer.
And you have a text message of Jerry West texting you,
mm-hmm.
and because now he thinks the deal is not going to happen, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now I gotta admit right here, for those of you watching the visual version, the text messages are coming from a phone where the number isn't necessarily saved. So we don't really know who exactly is it coming from. They could say it's Jerry West. It could be Jerry West. But these guys being businessmen, they have many different phones and phone numbers for different reasons. So there's a lot of buffer that they put between themselves and Johnny Wilkes. At some point, it's got to click in their head that Steve Ballmer or just anyone doing business on a multi-million-dollar level, a lot of the information, just the way things are exchanged, it has to be more direct. There's just way too many middlemen, especially coming out of the boxing world. That shit is already suspicious off a rip.
And he's texting you, asking you what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
and then you tell him what's going on. You have the text message, and then Jerry West texts Ballmer.
Yes,
And that was in the discovery.
correct.
So Ballmer knew Jerry West was negotiating.
Yeah, I think I didn't sit into Mr. Ballmer's deposition because I had something to do, but yeah, he knew because from my understanding, when my attorney told me that he admitted that West did some things wrong. He admitted that, but it's the funny thing. Only deposition you can read now is mine. Everybody else is sealed. And I didn't understand why my attorney didn't do Dennis and Sammy. I really didn't understand it. I still don't understand it to this day.
Now talk to me about the appeals hearing. What took place at the appeals hearing?
Well, the appeals hearing, just the Wayne Lyons or their attorney, he got up and he talked about he could have got all this information out of the back of the newspaper. He called me a hanger-on. What did he say, hanger-on? Like I was a groupie or something.
With Dennis. You were hanging around
like
with
a
Dennis.
groupie with Dennis. Man, get out of here.
And you had been knowing Dennis for over 40 years.
The groupie with Dennis, come on now.
And then he said that the fact that the information that you gave Jerry West, he could have got off the back of a newspaper?
He told me I could have got off the back of a newspaper. So
what you shared with Jerry West?
What I shared with Jerry West. So it was like, man, get out of here. So I kind of, figured that, shit, my feeling is that, Ballmer's money went a long way. He might, reached out and touched them. I kind of feel like afterwards, because after he did his deposition, the next day, my attorney told me the case is dismissed. I'm like, what? How is this? He should have did this. The judge should have did that from Jump Street.
What they dismissed the case on.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, what they dismissed the case on, I'm like, come on now.
Yeah, Ballmer money does go a long way because at the end of the day, that aspiration deal with how much money he had to put in just to get Kawhi paid the like $150 million, you're looking at over $400 million, almost $500 million just to pay Kawhi $150. That includes the multiple investments made into aspiration, even after they were going through financial issues, and just making sure that Kawhi got paid on time. But yeah, Steve Ballmer's money definitely goes a long way because he does have the equity to buy almost half the NBA, if not the whole thing.
So in closing, what would you want? What in closing, tell me what you really feel.
I want to be compensated for what I did. Listen to me. Dennis, he didn't have to worry about LA. I had the Lakers locked up, the Clippers locked up, and it was just a matter of which one he was going to go to. But after Irv quit, we already knew where he was definitely going to go. Either they didn't make the trade for Paul George, he's going back to Toronto. If they make the trade, he's a Clipper. The Lakers, after Irv quit,
they were done.
You hear that, Laker fans? Magic Johnson was your last line into getting Kawhi that summer. In the eyes of Kawhi's camp, there was no one really trustworthy of him even being there. As Johnny Wilkes has stated earlier, the feelings on Rob Pelinka is, I'm not sure about him.
Now, what are your thoughts about Jerry West?
I respect Mr. West. Mr. West, I don't know if it came down to what Dennis, because when Sam gave me when he called me and had the conversation, that Dennis told them to not pay.
Who is them? The Clipper organization, Lawrence Frank?
He was part of the meeting. I'm sure he was part of the meeting, all of it. Because here's another thing. After that little episode at the Ritz-Carlton, when Kawhi asked me what happened to meeting with Al Heyman, we had went over to the Clippers facility. And when we got to the Clippers facility, Kawhi was sitting in the back. And this is exact words he said to Dennis. I'm going to fire your ass just like I fired the rest of them motherfuckers. So Dennis say, you can't fire me. I got you the best deal with the Clippers. And I look at Dennis like, well, you left $100 million on the table. You didn't even let Al Heyman go in and talk for the million. And for Kawhi to be asking me at the hotel, what happened with this meeting with Al Heyman? And I look at you, and then you go to my Fed case. That says a lot right there.
So your thoughts on Jerry West? What are your thoughts on Jerry West?
Mr. West, he the things he said about Jeannie Buss, I didn't like. But everything else, he was trying to sell me everything positive on Kawhi. And he was all aboard, until Dennis said, don't pay me. And then the whole thing kind of changed up, and I had to go through, filing a lawsuit and doing all of this. And still to this day, sitting here, what is this, 4 or 5 years later, I'm still here talking about it. And Mr. West has passed away, and there's some things that happened when, we were still going to Mr. West, serving them papers with different things, and then he passed away. I really don't have nothing bad to say about Jerry. I'm just like, it's off because Dennis.
But let's just be honest here. Jerry was not a man of his word. Let's be honest with you.
That's correct.
Yeah,
that's
Jerry
correct.
was not a man of his word.
I wouldn't necessarily say that, even though, of course, we don't know him personally, but when it comes to business, if that shit is not on a piece of paper, there's no written agreement that you could present to a judge, that shit is not real. It doesn't exist. It's fairy tale. Fuck giving your word. Once you have a document, it's notarized, there's an agreement, that's evidence you could present to a judge. And in this case, it looks like Johnny Wilkes, he got finessed. They threw a bunch of smoke screens at him. Maybe Uncle Dennis is the one that intervened and made sure that he got paid, and Wilkes was asked out. It is what it is.
Correct.
The deal was made with Jerry West.
Correct. Yeah.
And Jerry West should have paid you. Let's just be honest here. Jerry West should have paid, despite what the Clippers were talking about, because you weren't talking to Lawrence Frank when this deal was.
I've never talked to. Only time I talked to Lawrence Frank, this is one time I talked to Lawrence Frank. So him and Dennis come out of the facility. So Dennis got some Clipper shirts in his hand, and Dennis handed me the shirts and tell me this is thanks Clippers, thank you for getting me for signing for Kawhi.
Some T-shirts.
I still got them shirts. On burn them motherfuckers. I have no qualms with Steve Ballmer.
And why is that?
Mr. Ballmer paid Mr. West. And Mr. West, I'm sure he distributed his portion of money to Jim Gray and Sam Watson. And I was the low man on the podium, which I was really the man. And they never paid me because they thought I was just a nobody, that I wouldn't fight it, that I wouldn't, do anything. It's the night that I filed, I had so many phone calls I had from my pastor at my church, Sam Watson called me. Everybody was calling me, asking me to drop the lawsuit. It was my pastor even called me, talking about Sam wanted to talk to me. He got money. I don't want no money. I want the money that Mr. West owed me. I did this deal.
Hey, it is what it is. It sounds like a whole story of fuckery, I'm not gonna lie. But at the end of the day, there is a whole economy of these guys choosing what teams to go to. As I do believe the part with Jim Gray letting him know that he could have got way more money than the 2.5 he was asking for. And that's the beautiful thing about today's media landscape. Johnny Wilkes is able to get his side of the story out, even though throughout the mainstream part of the NBA media, they have labeled him and just branded him as an uncredible source, a guy that's a hang-around. But with all the evidence he has provided, he's known Kawhi's family for years, multiple family members, including his mother. So it is what it is. I'm sure more details will eventually come out on this whole Kawhi Leonard and how he got to LA. This shit is multi-layered, and it's revealing a lot of the inner nuances that are going on behind the curtain, behind the scenes of this whole machine we like to call NBA free agency.